Hello and welcome to the MobileX Festival blog. I'm Rick Scheninger, the editor, and joining me today is Donna Peeples. Welcome, Donna.
Hi, Rick. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you?
Good, good. I'm coming to you from New York today.
All right, New York City.
Yes, the Big Apple.
I love New York, the city that never sleeps, right?
Y'all love New York.
Donna's with Pypestream. As I understand it, you recently joined Pypestream as their CCO, the Chief Customer Officer. Is that right?
That's correct. Just announced yesterday, Rick, as a matter of fact. So how long have I been CCO here? What time is it?
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So how did you come about? How'd you come to meet Pypestream, or how'd you find them, or how'd they find you? Or
Yeah, well, it's an interesting story because I've spent a lot of years working in and around the customer, both from a top line perspective and from managing the middle line perspective. And I had spent a lot of time in the energy industry, a lot of time in financial services, and no matter what industry you're in, you know, you're solving for kind of some of the same problems. And so I had left AIG at the end of 2014 and was consulting last year, trying to help a lot of different companies and a lot of different industries solve for some of the same issues that I'd dealt with. And I happened to be at a conference speaking here in Brooklyn, and
oh wow.
Yeah, I got asked at the last minute by one of the event organizers if I could step in and moderate a panel discussion because the person who was supposed to do it wasn't going to make it through the traffic in time. And so I said, sure, I could. I said, what is the topic? And he said, well, the topic is how does technology either enable or detract from the customer experience?
Oh.
Been there, done that. So I said, sure, I can do it. And the CEO of Pypestream, a gentleman by the name of Richard Smullen, happened to be one of the panelists. And I asked questions and I felt like many of us do that at one time or another we've been shopped every possible solution by every vendor on the planet.
Right.
And I had never really heard of anything quite like Pypestream. And so I got interested in it as maybe part of the solution set for some of the clients that I was dealing with and solving for their problems, whether it was in call centers or whether it was in some other part of their service delivery strategy. And came and demoed the product and just fell more in love with it the more I got to know about it. And then one day we were talking about some of the regulatory and legal issues that this could solve for as well. And Richard said, gosh, why don't you just come join us? You know, you love this product as much as we do. So I'm just excited to be here and get to spread the word about this wonderful product.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Problems. Yeah. So that's my story.
It's amazing how things happen, right? Come together.
That's right. I mean, the universe sometimes conspires in your favor and sometimes against you. This one was in my favor. So
that's awesome.
It's a great company, a great group of people. So much energy and enthusiasm, and the experience is just amazing.
So tell us a little bit about what Pypestream is and what platform is about.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about what it is and what it isn't. Okay. So what it is a messaging platform. It's so much more than an app. It consolidates communications with businesses and brands and organizations into really one connecting mechanism. Businesses can talk to their customers or other stakeholder groups and segments, and they can have one-to-one conversations. What this is not, Rick, is a social platform. So there's no way that you can have groups communicating with each other or individuals communicating with each other outside of that business scenario. That secure either broadcast to many from the business to its stakeholder audiences, or that secure message back from the connected user to the business is really what differentiates Pypestream from anything else out there.
And that's a big deal because, I mean, customer service is a big issue. And in this day and age where everything is technology based, the human element tends to get lost in all that noise.
True. It's a little bit ironic. We find ourselves talking about how digitization is going to create more humanization. But, when you think about it too, this, just because you're on a chat, I mean, it's just such a wonderful thing. I know I've got 2 children. If I want to talk to them, I have to text them. They're not going to answer. So that immediacy of interaction, we want what we want, when we want it, the way we want it.
Right.
That's how we are as a society. And being able to have those interactions and get immediate resolutions to problems, I think is a really interesting dynamic and the way it's changing. How many times have we called and sat on hold or had to repeat over and over again, our account information to verify?
Right. And the language barriers because of the customer service being farmed out to other countries.
Exactly.
And that happens both ways, both from international calling to us and vice versa. So it's not just that this country is farming it out, it's everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or international customers of the companies.
You're dead on.
And I'm excited that your title, your role is Chief Customer Officer. Mm-hmm. Had a little trouble talking there. But that in and of itself means your company is focused on your customer, your client, but also in how you can provide your clients a resource for that.
Correct.
For their own business. So tell me a little bit about your role and what your goals are going forward.
Yeah, and it wasn't too many years ago that Chief Customer Officer or Chief Customer Experience Officer was considered an emerging role. And the realities of the role is that it is kind of it's kind of a combination of a lot of different things. But if you're really looking at changing the customer experience in totality, it's not just about customer service, and it's not just about marketing, and it's not just about communications. It's about everything, in totality. That is the experience. It's everywhere all the time. So we did decide to put a stake in the ground and call it the Chief Customer Officer. That's a choice we've made about who we are and how we think about the customer. Customer first, our employees always, we said. So what that role is here, at least at Pypestream, is it runs everything from what I call, at a very high level, from awareness to advocacy is where you hope you get the customer. So from communications through marketing, sales and business development, and then the mid-office, sales fulfillment, service delivery strategy, making good on that brand commitment. So it's that whole space. I don't run technology, but we work very closely together with technology and business operations. So it's a really, really great structure for us right now and gets us to where we're going for the customer.
It feels to me like you're leveraging technology to bring more human customer experience.
Absolutely.
And to employees too, right? Because it's also business to employee.
That's right. And in a way, our employees are our customers first.
That's true.
So think about it. So, and we're growing really fast. Right now we have the luxury, as we don't call ourselves a startup anymore. We feel like we're beyond that. But as an early phase company, we know that we're growing. We have folks in 14 countries who are working with us. And a lot of those people are technology people, but we're based here in New York. And incidentally, we have customers in more than 50 countries right now.
Really?
Yes.
That's very exciting. How many customers would you say you have at this point?
Well, we just passed a major milestone yesterday. I'm excited to give you the scoop. Yesterday, we surpassed 6,000 businesses who have signed up to be on.
Woo-hoo! Oh, that's awesome.
I just started yesterday, and it's already.
That's what it was. They came on the news of you joining.
That's right. That's right. I'm the Pied Piper.
There you go. And that's with a Y.
That's right.
So for me as a business owner, what would Pypestream do for me? How can it help me help my customers and my employees?
Well, it can give you a deeper relationship with any of your stakeholder audiences. I mean, imagine, like we talked about earlier, a world where you're not sitting on hold, a world where, not that we're doing away with call centers, because, we talk a lot about omni-channel and multiplicity now too. So all those things are going to continue to happen. And like I remind everybody, we're not out to kill email either, even though, rates of, opened emails are just going down like crazy. And there's so many apps now, people are getting apathetic, but the reality is, video did not kill the radio star.
Right.
The radio star just evolved, and that's what all of these communications are going to do. So it's just another way for businesses to communicate with their customers, their employees, or intermediaries, if they use, different facets to communicate in a way that is made for mobile, because we're all on the run all the time.
Right.
I mean, how many times a day is your phone very far away from you? And it's immediate, and for people who want solutions, it's the new way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. In marketing or in business, you hear so much about the terms business to business, business to customer, business to consumer. But when you really get down to it, a brick and mortar building does not sell to anybody. It's never a business. There's always a person on both ends of that.
You're singing my song. That's what, we talk about, and segments are great. It's interesting to me too how, we've segmented ourselves into personalization now.
Right.
So it's just, it's just an amazing time that we live in. And then as businesses too, how do you balance where you should standardize what you can, but customize where you should? I think this technology gives people a platform to do that on as well. I mean, you really can, in this day and time, have the best of both worlds as a business, and the customer benefits from it. It really gives control to the customer in a way that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and it's really about building that relationship and building it stronger through all of these different available media platforms.
Yeah, any buy or any decision point, there's emotion around it. So,
absolutely.
The more satisfaction that you can bring, the less pain that you can, put on a customer, the better off you're going to be. And, the holy grail is you get to retain your most profitable customers. They tell 10,000 of their closest friends on Facebook, and you get to attract, the very best customers. Then once you have them, they're more apt to buy from you. So the cross-selling and upselling is just, incredible. Those are really, that's just an amazing capability. And by the way, the cherry on top is that when you use this kind of technology in the right way, you get to reduce your costs to serve those customers. So it's
right.
Just nirvana done right.
Now, the structure within the app, as I understand it, there's different streams or different pipes, as you call them.
Correct.
Different types of services or announcements. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, exactly. And, when you sign on to Pypestream, you get, as a business, we have self-sign up now. We just put that into place about 3 weeks ago. So everybody's online signing on for their pipe, as our numbers are showing, as quickly as they can. And
I'm one of those. I did that.
Oh, good. Well, I am too. So everybody sign up for Motivated. That's me. You want to give yourself a plug for your pipe? What's your pipe called?
It's one-to-one marketing for my pipe.
Everybody sign up. So they go on, they sign up, and then as you've seen, you get to choose what your streams inside your pipe are, and those are topics of discussion or information that you want to share with the people who are connected to you. So it could be a promotional pipe. It could be an informational pipe. It could be an interaction pipe. There's all kinds of things you can do. It's not just chat. You can serve up all kind of media. You can payments, online.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Is that actually officially rolled out? Is that active right now?
Not en masse yet. We
Okay.
are testing
All right.
now. So it's underway. It's very secure too, which is also wonderful. It's a phone verification, so it's much more secure than email. It's guaranteed delivery, so people are going to get what you send. So if you think about alerts from a school, or you think about alerts from a credit card, you're going to get those delivered guaranteed. So it also has, we have some companies who are using it to send out pricing information, and there's an automatic timestamp on receipt, plus it automatically gets filed in an archive file cabinet. So you can always go back and reference the information that you've sent and the communications that you've had. So it's just, it's terrific.
There seems to be a almost endless number of uses, from alerts to event announcements. I think the three that were set up by default were news, promotion, and support. That's
right. Yeah, and you can go in and change those streams, and customers have the ability, unless you default them to on, if it is an alert that you don't want them to choose to opt out of, they can turn those on and off. If I don't want to get any more sales promotions from ABC company, then I can turn that off for a while. Everything that they send will be archived for me if I want to look at it. But I don't get bothered with all of those promotions. So
right.
Yeah, it's just amazing. There's also the ability to calendar. Like if you're a business and you want to, I'm your HVAC dealer.
Okay.
And I want to remind you it's time for your seasonal checkup. I can send you a calendar so that it automatically goes into your calendar on your phone and reminds you, hey, you need to call your HVAC company and get your seasonal checkup. So
wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, I'll have to do a demo for you.
So as brands look to improve customer service and their overall experience, I know we've touched on this a little bit, but what should they keep in mind going forward? With this brand in the hand technology age that we're in, what should they keep in mind for their customers?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Rick. And I think, it's going to sound very simple, but it's not. And I think, businesses should always think of their customer. I can't tell you how many times, I've worked with companies who are doing customer journey maps and don't even involve or engage the customer in that journey. It's, so many times it's easy to fall into that focus group of one and try to solve business issues on behalf of the business without thinking about the impact to the customer. So my best advice is always, whether it's investing in technology, whether it's changing a process, whether it's, redesigning your organizational structure, always think about how that impacts the customer. And we talked about it early, think about it more holistically, because here's the news flash. The customer doesn't care what function or department you're in. You're one company always to them.
Right. Well, and it's you hit on a key point there, I think, when you mentioned involving the customer in kind of the decision-making process for changes and evolving as a company. And that's just going to endear them to you that much more if they're part of the process and they know that you're not only listening to them, but acting on what they're saying.
You're absolutely right. I mean, how many times have you taken, surveys or given feedback and you've actually seen something that you've done put into play? I mean, those are the important connectors, that need to happen.
Absolutely. I heard the other day, earlier this week, Mark Zuckerberg was announcing messenger platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And as I understand it, that's got some artificial intelligence built into it for Messenger. And I guess Pypestream is also looking at some artificial intelligence, some AI or chatbots to help brands automate their customer service.
Yes.
Can you talk about that for just a moment?
Yes. Actually, if you go online to Pypestream with a Y.com, you can actually see some demos of how this works. But in the beginning, it really looks a little bit like almost an online IVR, because artificial intelligence, just like a child, has to learn over time. Now, fortunate for customer service, a lot of the inquiries, a lot of the questions they get are the same. It's very repetitive as a business. So, so what you'll see is that the customer will be given options. You know, when the bot picks up on keywords, there will be almost like a decision tree. Like I said, almost like an IVR on your phone. It'll give you 3 options. You pick the option, then it'll take you into another space. The other beautiful thing is if it picks up negative sentiment, then it'll kick you out to a representative.
Oh.
Some of the companies that we're working with, though, are choosing to give that option anyway. You know, there was some bad press about Tay, you know, the
Yes.
artificial intelligence that
it was tricked.
Went rogue. Yeah. So, you know, we're all very sensitive, and you know, the realities are, as I said, you know, these technologies are new, but they're learning and growing. So, you know, for us, the best applications are the most common, most repetitive, most scalable that we start with. We're not getting, you know, we're not turning the artificial intelligence loose on anybody today. But yeah, it's amazing, and would encourage everybody to take a look and see on screen how it looks and how it works.
Well, I imagine that as a result of that other experience, you guys in particular are kind of putting these parameters in place so that it can't stray beyond a certain point.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, technology moves so fast, and I mean, sometimes it feels like the technology is even ahead of the development of the technology. You know, I mean, it's just that fast. So, you know, at the same time that we're developing new technologies, we are also, you know, putting it through Q&A testing to make sure that it's ready for release. Then we have a group of beta. So we're trying to be very thoughtful and deliberate, even in this fast-paced that we're working in, to get things, you know, out to the customers and start solving real-world problems.
Yeah, you're right about technology moving fast. It wasn't much more than 10 years ago. I still had a flip phone.
Yeah, I know.
That was cool still.
Exactly.
Now a flip phone is like a rotary phone.
Oh, I know. It's Smithsonian now. Yeah.
Exactly. So what opportunities do you see for brands going forward?
I think the opportunity really is to expand their relationship with customers. And, you know, it's too, it wasn't that long ago that we had the luxury of having a monologue at our audiences, and now it's a real-time two-way dialogue with our customers. Those kind of things are important moving forward. And I think realizing that, you know, it's not just about your customer. There are so many influences, you know, that affect the way customers behave and the perceptions that they have.
Yeah, you're right.
And how they think about your brand. I don't think we can, I mean, we have to be everywhere all the time, and then we have to be ready to zoom in and do those personal one-to-one communications so that the customer feels like, hey, not only did we hear you, we know who you are, and we know you so well we can anticipate, you know, what it is that we can bring to you in the way of value. So I think that would be my advice.
That's awesome. Well, Donna, I really want to thank you for coming on here today and talking with me, and I'm really excited about Pypestream, not only where it's already where it already is today, but just where you guys are going. So I'm definitely going to be following you and just to see what the future holds. I'm excited.
Well, I'm going to be connecting to your pipe, and we appreciate your business and encourage everybody to get their own pipe. And I look forward to seeing you, Rick, and everybody else in Atlanta.
I'm looking forward to seeing you also. And I'll put in the blog post will be your link, Pypestream with a Y, on the Mobile X Festival blog.
Awesome.
All right. Well, thanks again. You have a great day, Donna.
Thank you. You too, Rick.
Thanks.